So you're surrounded by the family.
Absolutely, yes.
And so you don't feel like you need an armed guard,
No.
security guard 24/7. The family's all right here.
Exactly.
And they're watching out. It's the buddy system.
They are watching out.
I just think it's so important to stress that because there's somewhat of a fear factor, I think, that's maybe not talked about very much. But people, we know it because people ask for security buildings and security guard and this and that.
Exactly.
And you know, to each his own, everyone has a comfort level, but we want to explain why you don't have that fear, and that's part of it.
Yes.
Although part of it is also your personality, I think. But you still, in a practical sense, you're protected.
I'm protected when I'm here at home, and I have no fears at all taking the bus anywhere.
Do you speak any Spanish?
Very little.
Very little?
Very little.
Notice she didn't even say un poco.
Solo un poco.
Solo un poco. Okay, she's got that.
Solo un poco.
I'm sure that people are going to want to know how much she pays rent
Oh,
for
we'll
her.
get to that.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm in a hurry.
Well,
to that part.
Now, as far as speaking Spanish, when I was still in the States, I purchased the Pimsleur CD program, and I listened to that in my car driving back and forth to work. Once I arrived here, I went to a school for Spanish, and I would say that I retain it for a short period of time and then it's gone out of my head.
You forget it, yeah.
Most recently I have been concentrating on furnishing my home, furnishing my front terrace, furnishing my side terrace, getting the plantings that are so important to me. Doing what's important to me. And even though I never thought Spanish would take a back seat when I was in the States, that was priority. But now that I'm here, priority is my home. Once I'm finished, then I'm going to be gung-ho on Spanish. Because I am in Ecuador, after all.
Here, you know, in an Ecuadorian neighborhood, meaning that you know, the rental rate is an Ecuadorian rental rate. Like you said, the landlord is Ecuadorian. She doesn't speak any English.
Right.
And so you're dealing with the Ecuadorian culture, renting from Ecuadorians. And so, and I just wanted to mention, and you don't speak Spanish. Of course, you've had some help.
Yes.
But you had an intention of not living as a tourist. You did want to come here, and you knew this was the place that you wanted to be. So you made the decision that you wanted to live not in tourism and with its accompanying tourist prices and all.
Correct.
That. So okay.
And
so there are options here, okay?
Yes.
You know, you can do it, and this is how it's done. And it's not a question of really being deprived in any way, because I see here that you've got a really nice home. And can I ask you, is it okay to ask what your rent is?
of course. You know, because you obtained it for me. My rent is $350 a month. This is for a 3-story single-family home with a beautiful front terrace. I sit out on the front terrace when the sun is shining. A beautiful side terrace that's totally covered but with skylight. I sit on the side terrace when it's raining.
Now you
How many bedrooms?
Okay.
There is a maid's bedroom on the first floor. On the second floor, there are 3 other bedrooms. Every single bedroom, including the maid's bedroom, has its own private bathroom. In this house, there are 5 bathrooms, because the 5th one is the social bathroom. At home, we call it the guest bathroom. Here, it's the social bathroom.
Now it's important to note, and I think she's already mentioned, that is an unfurnished long-term price. This is not a short-term.
Correct. Now, I have a 2-year lease, but it was the same price for a 1-year lease.
Okay. And so you did have to buy furniture. You don't have a yard, right? There's no yard to maintain.
There's no yard to maintain, but for me, it's exactly what I wanted. It's my terrace. Thank goodness I don't have grass to mow. I don't have trees to trim. I don't have garden beds to weed. this is what I wanted, and you were carefully listening when I told you what I wanted.
Exactly.
I have planter boxes that are in my terrace, so I have climbing plants. I also have pots of flowers throughout.
Well, you've done an amazing decorating job, and I like plants. I like the way that looks, and we'll take a look around with it. But it's interesting that you said that it's what you wanted,
Yes.
and it turns out there's more of this kind of housing than, say, if you had pets. You don't have pets.
I don't have pets. However, to have a pet, you need to be able to provide for the pet. You either need to be in a pet-friendly, pet-approved apartment, or you have to have some sort of yard space for the animals.
Well, and we've talked about on our website how much more complicated and a little bit more difficult it is, and I think that that was part of the picture that I wanted to highlight, in that you were able to get really a nice home for the $350. There weren't these other contingencies and demands. Now, when we first met you, you seemed like an easygoing person. You knew what you wanted, but you didn't seem really like a demanding person to me. I'm just explaining how you came across to me. You didn't seem to say, oh, I have to have this and I have to have that. I think you had a goal, and the goal was to retire in Cuenca and have a decent housing. You knew you wanted to be here long term, and therefore when you saw the house, I think that you pretty much knew you wanted it and didn't hesitate. You took it right away.
In the beginning, I didn't know where I wanted to live. I didn't know if I wanted to be in an apartment, if I wanted to be in a duplex. I had no preconceived notions. I was open to whatever you were showing me. However, when I came into this home and saw this home, I knew what it could become, and it was the perfect Alice.
Okay, you saw what you wanted and you grabbed it, and that's important because a lot of times they don't last in this price range. This is the upper range for Ecuadorians, as we talk about on the website. Anything above $300 is, well, take a look at the ceiling. There's some custom work here. It's really nice home here.
And there's custom work throughout. It's a beautiful home. Interestingly enough, I have had Ecuadorian handymen, Ecuadorian contractors, Ecuadorian taxi drivers who are assisting me with things, coming in here and commenting on what a beautiful home this is. They have come in here and taken photographs of this home so they could go back to their own homes and implement some of the features that are in this home. And one of the contractors was so taken with my lighting, and it's not turned on now, but I'm going to turn it on for you. He was so taken with this lighting that he took photographs of this, and he put this in his own home. Because he's a contractor, he was able to do it.
And I think
that's beautiful. I didn't know it did that.
Yeah.
When we rented this for you. I never knew that.
You know, I think I want to highlight this fact, and that this is something we mentioned in the Karina video, and I don't know if I did a good job of it earlier, that you didn't come here saying, I've got to have a house that's nice, custom,
Not at all.
I've got to have this lighting like this, I've got to have this, but you wanted to live in an Ecuadorian neighborhood, you were willing to do it, and this is what you ran into.
Yes.
And this is part of the theme that we highlight on our website, in that when you branch out here and get out here, it's possible to run into situations that are just like this.
Exactly.
But now I just want to mention too that it's not necessarily typical. It doesn't mean people can just come down here and they're going to get this. But you just have to be willing to get out here and live out here in the Ecuadorian neighborhoods, and then you just kind of fall into a situation like this.
Exactly.
Because you're willing.
I came with absolutely no preconceived notions. As I explained, I was open to anything. This home really is so much better than anything I have ever lived in the United States. The detail, as you said, the tray ceilings, if you will, the molding detail, it runs throughout the entire house. Every room in this house has this beautiful molding detail, different colors.
But you didn't ask for that.
No,
You just ran into it
yes.
and you snagged it.
Exactly.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Yes. I didn't ask for a thing and I didn't know what I was going to find.
Yeah.
Some of the places that I looked at really were not my taste and my liking, and I knew I couldn't live there. But when I saw this, not only could I live here, but I could, in my mind, I could live in beautiful luxury here.
Mm-hmm.
I never expected this, but it was a gift.
But it's $350.
Yes, it is.